Yep, it's
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Sacred Society podcast with myself here, X.
Dadpool.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, it's been a wonderful couple of days. Let me tell you. Still recovering from this weekend for Free Comic Book Day. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to everybody that came out to Intergalactic Imports that supported the shop in the rain. Mind you, it rained the whole time, dude, and I was very, very proud of my kid. He came out and he helped out this year. It was just me, him, and Glenn running the tables out front. And then we had John on the inside running the sales, which for those that showed up, I guess they did take advantage of the 2 for 35, 2 for 25 on the action figures. Because when I got there on today, I noticed we had some big holes. I'm like, hey, that's what I like to see. Toys actually moving out of this place. So, but no, it was fun, dude. There was a lot of people that showed up. I know I had maybe, I think there was about 10 people already lined up at about 9:30, but we didn't start until about 10. And it went off without a hitch, dude. Like, literally everybody was super cool. You know, they had to brave the elements, unfortunately, because it was like, at one point it was actually coming at us. So luckily, the way that I had put everything in boxes and kept them in their plastics, they didn't really get too wet or too destroyed. So that was smart on my end. So I was like, yeah.
Go ahead and tell us how great you are.
Oh, yes, always. And then I did dress up because it was May the 4th. You know, and it's like I figured, I might as well. Usually I do my dad pool, but this year I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something different. I'll do a Jedi. So I threw on my cosplay, and
I saw it. You were walking up the steps that is take the video.
yeah, he did.
Very steady.
Yeah,
arm.
dude, he was a good helper to, like. I mean, at one point, John and Glenn had to go to lunch for an hour.
Oh, wow.
And so
how gracious.
That means I have to be inside, and he had to man the tables by himself. But dude, he did such a tremendous job. He was such a good champ about it. In fact, I remember there was a part where these two girls, they're about his age, had walked up, and I noticed he went super friendly with like, oh, hey, let me help you with this. Here, let me give you these. And he was like, every little thing. Oh, you want a bookmark? Here, let me give you guys bookmarks. And I was like, what are you doing over here? All right. So, good customer service.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. That's exactly what saves you from sexual assault kids.
Absolutely.
Harassment can't be harassment if it's customer service.
Correct.
And then did anyone else dress up?
You know what? It wasn't until the very, very end. This is the funny part. So I had put that costume on probably about 10:30. I wore it till about 3:30 because I was like, you know what? Nobody else is showing up, and we got a half hour. We were down to about one table, and I'm like, I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna take this costume off. I'll be right back. He's like, okay, Dad, got it. I go in, and as soon as I come out, man, here comes this couple right around the corner from Men's Warehouse, and they're both wearing Star Wars garb. She was wearing a Padme outfit, and then he had full on like Darth Maul makeup, full on face paint and everything. And I'm like, damn it, if you guys would have been here like 10 minutes ago, I was still in costume. But I was like, so there's like, oh, it's all right. So they went inside, and while they were inside, I just quickly threw it back on so that when they came back out, I would be able to get some pictures. So we took some pictures in front of Intergalactic, and we did some posing, and they were really cool. Matter of fact, the only reason they knew about it and they knew to come look for me was because Brian, I think our UPS guy, on the delivery route that he was doing, he had spoke to her and was telling her all about it, telling her about the Muggins collection here to come check it out and whatnot. Yeah. So that was really cool. So thanks, shout out to Brian. Thanks for sending some customers our way, and that was some good memories for the day. That's for sure.
I can honestly say that this would have never happened if you were a Star Trek nerd. Just throw on a fucking shirt.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I tried to get John to put on I go like, do you have any Star Trek shirts or costumes or anything? He's like, no. I'm like, that would have been perfect. Like, just have a Spock. I just want to see him in the blue Spock shirt, just sitting up there at the front, helping customers. Like, I think that should be the uniform every day.
You know, I think the other thing too is that doesn't make it much easier for people is, I mean, again, why the fuck would you take an hour lunch on a busy day? What an asshole. John, if you or fucking Glenn are watching, you fucking idiots. Like, it's your number one day. No, I'm going to say it. I own a shop. I can say it. Glenn, you're not even part of the conversation. This is for shop owners. Okay? Don't do that. You fucking kids are there. Fucking two people dressed up, and they chose the wrong thing, and they're not Star Wars. I mean, or they're not Star Trek. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, like, there's only 3 places that do Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, I didn't even know how. I didn't even know if because I know last year I was hearing that some of the customers that were coming from current comics that they could only get so many for free, but then they had to buy to get. And I was like, that's not how it's supposed to go. But here I was like, for us, we're like, take as many as you want, please. We don't need these afterwards, because whatever we had left over, we just end up donating to the local school libraries. What's his name? Hans, the teacher from Carmel that comes in all the time. Yeah. We always hook him up with as much as we can, because we know he's gonna. Matter of fact, he put out 2 long boxes that he had in his classroom, and he's like, it was funny. He goes like, I've had this stuff in my classroom for like years. Nobody ever touches it. Nobody ever really goes and picks through it or anything. The one day I put it out front, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, comics, I want to read comics. So I was like, hey, but that's a good thing. That just means they're finally getting out there and wanting to read and wanting to explore. But yeah, I was glad to see how it turned out. Like, overall, it was a great day, and it was just funny that at the end when we were leaving, literally Iz and I are walking away from the store, and the rain's like stops, and the sun comes out, and it was like all the way till we walked to the car. We're just like, the whole day, dude, we sat out there for 6 hours in the cold with the hot cocoa, just making the best of it. And then at the very end, here comes the sun to warm everything up. Like, God damn it. But message, yeah.
No, I think that the Free Comic Book Day is interesting, right? You have to spend money, and it goes out, and it's part of the community stuff. The whole idea of charging people for this stuff is a big no-no. Yeah. So that's one thing. Second of all is making sure that you have enough for people. Like, people called us, and we sent them to you guys. Yeah. Specifically just because I have not participated in the last 3 comic book
years.
Days. Yeah. Not that I don't want to. I never pay attention to it. I'll be honest. I never cared for Free Comic Book Day when I was younger. I still don't care about it now. I wouldn't mind doing it, but I'm not aware of it because I get other things going on.
Absolutely.
Right now, I'm stepping away from my role on that side as well as some stuff online, because I have to just focus on tattooing. Right. You know, and
you still have your seminar that's coming up too.
Yeah. Right. So I have that coming up in about a month, and then I'll be gone all next month. I'll finally be over at Tattooing Body Art with Brett and Morgan, and I will be over at 1031 Tattoo with Mike Lane and Kenny. And then I will be finally at Bill Atkinson shop at Hallows Eve in Hershey, Pennsylvania, or Palmyra, I think is what they call it. But
cracking a cold one, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm having my first Hawaiian punch in almost like.
I saw when you brought that in. I was like, damn.
I have not had a Hawaiian punch. I know, contradictory to how it looks. But I have not had a Hawaiian punch in fucking years, man. And something about these when you were a kid.
Dude, I remember having the bottle. Okay. Yeah. And so I remember at my grandma's house, because they always kept it up in the very top, and I would climb up there. I would get a glass of water. I don't know why I wouldn't mix it, but I would just take shots of it. So I would like drink a little bit of the concentrate and then take a little water and like mix it in my mouth and then swallow. I was like, yeah, that's the best way to have it, instead of just making a fucking cup or making a whole damn jug for everybody to enjoy. But I remember using that stuff for your homemade popsicle sticks.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that like ABC little in-between cartoony guy and showing you how to make some healthy snacks and use some orange juice and everything else and get a nice tray and cellophane over it and your little toothpicks in it. And now you have your little pops.
Fucking Rivers says, shout out to Rivers, Access, and Ricky Spanish right now.
What up, boys?
And everyone else watching. But Rivers goes, Hawaiian Punch and Sunny D just make you more thirsty.
Yes.
Tampico.
Oh.
Tampico is the #1 drink that'll make you more thirsty than anything else.
Yes.
It is the one mystery in life next to the Santa Cruz fucking spot.
Yeah, the mystery spot.
The mystery spot where if you stand on allegedly, you could possibly stand on that spot while drinking Tampico and somehow like internally combust.
I believe it.
For the fucking love of God, dude. I've never had a drink that I get more dehydrated the more I drink it.
Yeah, I can't drink Diet Cokes. Like I remember, like there's been times where I've been somewhere and like that's the only option. So I'm like, all right, like I had to be at my dad's and that's the only thing he fucking drank. And one of them I'd finish it and I'm like, damn, I'm fucking thirsty, and like all of a sudden now I like Diet Coke even more. Like, so I drink like 2 or 3 of them. Like, this is not me. This is not that fucking not that time.
But yeah, as far as the Free Comic Book Day, I think that was. I think that it went pretty well for a lot of people. We did have some people come in, and we were busy on Saturday in general.
I can imagine.
I think people want to go out and see things, but there needs to be an incentive for like an event or some kind of thing that you can collect. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's almost like every week they need something. Speaking of things, on June 15th, we have a video game tournament.
Oh shit!
/ tattoo flash day. We're doing anime and manga tattoo flash all day, and then we also have a Tekken tournament, Street Fighter tournament, and then we will have Smash Brothers and a few other things. The boys wanted to talk about setting up some random TVs to do like an arcade day.
Okay, yeah.
So
I can do that.
We're doing that, and then we're planning for July. We do have a card tournament, Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! It's an unofficial tournament, but we will have one here. And
I think we should make a trophy or something to like have them win.
Yeah,
like clout. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll just fucking spray paint one of our trash cans silver. You guys can take it. But yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like it's hard because, like, even from my perspective, Free Comic Book Day and all these must-haves that everyone's doing right now to be like, because Marvel's pushing so much to distributors, you must have these and that because there's
Blood
so
Hunt
sales.
is a perfect example. So not only did we get
what is Blood Hunt for anyone that doesn't know?
So as far as I know, the story, I didn't get to read it, but I saw a synopsis, and basically I guess Blade from the whatever last story that just ended, Blade now is getting the vampires to like take over the world, so he's basically going after everybody. At one point I saw a little snippet of a page where it shows him biting Doctor Strange in the neck, so I don't know what kind of an effect that's going to have. Today they released a couple of books that are connected with it. So there's Blood Hunters, which on the cover had Hawkeye and Dagger on the cover, and that's the Blood Hunters. And then there was a Doctor Strange tie-in to that one. But even the Free Comic Book Day. So they gave us like 10 of those packs of 20 or whatever they come in. So we got all those ones. Then they were sending us the fake vampire red teeth.
Yeah, we got those.
We got like 2 packs of those, dude. And there's like 20.
50.
Yeah. It's like, what is going on? And then they sent the day before, on last Tuesday, when we got our new books in, they sent us like, oh, here's additional 6 copies of Blood Hunt #1 to do whatever you want with them. Go ahead. And so like, okay, cool. So we just put them with the other 6 that we had ordered for that week. And then on Friday, I guess he got another packet, and inside that packet was a whole nother like 12 of them. So here's some more of these covers to go ahead and give away for Free Comic Book Day. And it's like, man, they are pushing this Blood Hunt storyline. Like,
have you noticed as a manager, have you noticed more or less comics selling? Because I feel like right now the market, nobody's buying.
It's a small fraction of people that are buying. And in their own, those that are buying, they're actually buying to read the stories. Like,
yeah,
Dan Midnight's one, Jim that comes in every week, and Hans, because he reads those for the class, because that's usually stuff that he uses for the comic book club that he has there, and a few other people. And those are the ones that I start to learn more about the stories or learn about what's going on in the comic book world, because I can't fucking read everything. You know, and I don't like to read. No, there's only certain things that I'm like currently trying to stay on top of, and that's the Transformers new one that just started, the Energon universe, Cobra Commander and Duke, because those are all 3 tie-ins. And then they just gave out the Energon universe Free Comic Book Day, which explains where Megatron was during all this time. So that was kind of interesting how that was tying into all of it. So I'm hooked with that one right now. What was the other one? Oh, the Ninja Turtles. The Free Comic Book Day on Ninja Turtles had 2 stories in it. One was about the Night Watcher, so it was a little bit about Raph's Batman kind of alter ego going through the city. That one was a cool little bit. But the second story that was in there, that one I found super, super funny. So for those that didn't pick it up, I highly recommend reading that story. It's pretty funny because it's just basically Splinter schooling the boys, telling them like they need to be in line, they need to be in order, and they can't be fucking around. And so they leave to go do their thing. And of course he has the house to himself, and it's the typical like when you have the house to yourself, you're going to run around naked kind of thing, and you're going to do all your fun things that you want. But in the meantime, he ends up fucking breaking shit and causing a big mess, and all of a sudden he hears the boys coming back, so he has to hurry up and clean up everything and pretend like he hasn't been doing anything all day, but just sitting there meditating. And like they come in and they immediately are like, something's off. But oh, hey, how's it going, Master Splinter? How's things going? Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm just meditating. And so they go to, where's the pizza at? Oh, there should be some in the freezer. And like that's where he hid all his garbage. And so like in his mind he's like, freezer, no. And like they open the door and it just all falls out. And so then it's them now lecturing him. And I thought that was just a funny story. So highly recommend picking that one up if you hadn't.
Yeah, I was talking to I was talking to Dan Midnight, and I was talking to Tony, good old Tony C. We were saying about how I'm noticing such a huge dip in the market for comics. Everybody that complained, and this is the hard part, right? Humans are parasites by nature, at least in my point of view. Yeah, absolutely. Fuck everybody. Everybody. But back to the point, like the thing is that people have parasitic nature in my head. They have the problem of they want to be into something. They want to be aware of things, or they want to be part of something because they need the cohesiveness of being relevant. That's fine. Fuck it. Whatever. But people start complaining when they don't know things or like things. And the thing that I don't care for is you have us who have been reading a really long time, and then you have people making like huge changes in the market that don't care about the long term. They care about the monetary side of it, which I mean, I get it, it's business. But now we're in a place where most of these stories aren't profitable. They're not that good. River said it in chat where it's like every year there's a major event or there's something, and it's getting tiresome.
Yeah.
And the only people that are surviving right now are indies. Indie creators are doing it. Like I went to go visit my uncle 2 days ago, and we were talking about how in the world of movies, like I loved his perspective. This is the uncle that has all the sports cards here. He has been reading Superman and Spider-Man since the 60s. So for him, he's like, why are movies tanking? It just doesn't seem right. Aren't they popular? Because to him, he still lives in a world where Superman and Spider-Man maybe show up once every 5 years.
Right.
And I told him, I was like, you have a lot of people writing perspectives of background, education, or culture that don't have those backgrounds, educations, or cultures. So it doesn't go anywhere. Then you go ahead and you write stories that like Captain Marvel. Nobody besides Buffy and fucking GL liked that movie. And to be honest, I didn't think it was a bad movie, but it wasn't a good movie to me either. Right. Kamala Khan is the only one that I like. Honestly, that's the only one.
Her and the family. That's what made it funny for me. Yeah.
But who's ever writing that family absolutely knows a Muslim family.
Right.
And every fucking other one that they've been writing isn't as great either, because they're trying to find this demographic of these people like this stuff, but how do we make $1 billion off of people who don't like it, and then they squeeze everything out of it and then they let it go? The hard part with that is that it doesn't leave any room for any actual growth. Like good example, when you're gardening, you put a seed in the ground and then you tend to it. What is the most important thing with gardening?
Obviously watering, keeping fucking the dirt nice and nutrient.
That's the bare minimum. The most important thing in gardening are strippers. No.
Why didn't I think of that?
Exactly. Time. Just give it time.
Yeah.
How did you go ahead and make a franchise of 12 years crash in less than 2? Because you didn't build anything up. You just rushed it in, and that didn't do anything for anybody.
Yeah.
So now you have a lot of these other properties, Invincible, Go Loser Rangers. You have Fallout, The Last of Us. they're allowing real creators and real people who've been behind these projects to jump into things and really give a shit about them. And the quality shows. The Boys.
Right.
It's not just people don't want to see heroes win. They want to see good stories made by people who give a shit about good stories. The first Joker that Scorsese made or produced with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
It did really well, you know? A lot of, just like the Robert Pattinson Batman. One of our homies that we used to talk to, he was famous like, I didn't like that movie. Everything was too bitchy and dark. It's Batman, you fucking moron.
And it's like right at the age of when he's making the choices and decisions to become Batman. You know what I mean? Like that was, I didn't think I was going to like it only because I knew Pattinson from fucking Twilight. I'm like, dude, I don't want to see a fucking diamond encrusted Batman. Like I don't need to see his diamond armor. No, like do it justice. But then I'd seen clips of the movie he had done with William Dafoe, and there's some other movies that he has done where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm curious to see how he's going to portray a Bruce Wayne. And dude, after I saw that movie, I'm like, fuck, that's Pattinson from now on as far as I'm concerned. That was the closest interpretation of what I always thought Batman was supposed to be like, because he was more of a detective. Plus, they were showing him dealing with the duality of trying to maintain being Bruce Wayne for everybody else out there in the world, but wanting to go into this darker side, which is giving him the space and the like the place that he needs to be to become what he wants at this point.
Right.
So,
and that's the thing is that like if you ever read Detective Comics, especially during the early '80s, like during Dark City, or Mojaba, or even around like the time of when Mike Mignola had his hands on it, you had Neil Adams and a lot of these famous artists and writers that were just really going through it. And I feel like that has to be one of the biggest pivots of like, if you really read comics and you really understood what those comics were, then the source material makes you happy because you're finally getting something that like reaches that.
Mm-hmm.
No other Batman, in my opinion, has ever been a better detective than Pattinson's
well, and
Batman.
you know, and that
live action,
that movie too. What it reminded me of is the animated Batman the animated series, when he is dealing with the Riddler and all the little like riddles that he would leave and things like that. Like it felt like like it kind of could be in that universe, like almost like a live action version of that cartoon world of.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. Mark Hamill Batman, I'm sorry, Mark Hamill Joker and
yeah.
Kevin Conroy Batman are a great example of not just great acting, but of great theatrics behind good writing. Paul Dini is one of the godfathers of fucking writing for comic books. And if you ever get a chance, anybody that goes ahead and listens to the old Fat Man on Batman's, the old episodes with Kevin Smith, look up the Paul Dini one, and you'll hear him cry like 7 times about how he wrote Heart of Ice with Mr. Freeze, how he wrote and created Harley Quinn, and how his love and affinity for how things happened after he was assaulted really badly and mugged in an alleyway. You see not just the legitimacy of it, but you see a guy who is writing about death, who went to war. We're putting big quotations here, and then puts it into the hands of a. He knows what a hero would have been like if he could have had one, and he knows what a villain likes when he was being the victim.
Right.
So when he writes his characters, the Joker seems like the worst thing, and Batman seems like the best thing, and they even each other out.
Wow.
So that gives you a great storyline. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, a lot of people didn't like that either. I know specifically one person, Brett. And with that being said, it was like, it's fucking stupid. I go, no, my friend, you are. But the thing is no, realistically, if you like a lot of Bing Bang Boom and you only have ever grown up on shows, you don't really like the source material. Now, the thing with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, to me, was it was talking about what a crazy person with mental health issues in a world where you can't really tell anything going on. That is such a good perspective to have. And it was a good movie, but this new one that's a musical, I don't know if it's going to be like Deadpool 2. Deadpool 1, and this was me talking to my uncle again, where like why doesn't the new Miss Marvel movies hit, but Miles Morales does? Why does this Batman kind of work, but that Moon Knight kind of does but doesn't?
Yeah.
Why does this work and that work? And it becomes this conversation of the boys have really egregious and very aggressive type of writing, and it's not even perfectly on the source material, but they gave enough shit about it. Peacemaker is a great example of that. And then you also think of Invincible.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much going on in such a little time that it's phenomenal. So the storytelling is where it really lies, right? I think it was it Rivers? Which one of you motherfuckers told me about King Kong? And it was just like, you know what, man? If you're going for a good story, don't. If you want to watch shit blow up, go for it. That's a really good point. You know, that's something that really tickles my fantasy with those things, because I don't need Godzilla to be a thespian. I just need him to be a monster.
I am here to destroy Tokyo.
I say roar. Roar. And again, I think people are entitled to their opinions, but now let's get back to why we brought this up. That's the beautiful part, right? You have Axis, you have Rivers, you have Ike, what up? You have Spock, you have fucking Pep, straight up to
what
fucking Ricky Spanish, you know, and everyone else watching. You have people who actually know these characters, like stuff, and have an opinion that they put their time in. Now that the market's taking a fucking dive, nobody wants new books,
right?
Because nothing's profitable. So now you have this really weird conundrum for shops, where shops don't survive without product or without pushing popular things, but nobody's going to buy what they don't care, and you can't keep buying things that no one's going to buy. You can't provide things people are not going to buy. It creates this really like toxic loop that people can't get what they want. You know what really like a story that absolutely nobody fucking ever picks up, and they absolutely should? The Magic Order. I feel like I feel like a lot of people didn't take chances on certain things. Like Cyberpunk was a board game and a book. You know, you look at Fallout. How many people played the very first or second Fallout? There wasn't very many people. Like I know my cousin Dan, he was a big PC player. Him and his brother Josh. So my cousins, both of them played a lot, dude. They were always on PC games. So I'm pretty sure they're one of few that actually played that game. But I still play it, and it amazes me too now, even with that, with the show that came out, and how much it influenced people to go out and play the game, to find more information about the game. Kind of similar to what happened in the Marvel universe when Marvel started to come back out. All of a sudden, people wanted to get back into comics and collectibles and things like that, and it became a big thing. Now, like you said, the market is so saturated. It's so like everything is being pushed like more. And even with the books that we get every week, like I don't see, we probably order 3 to 4 copies of each one, and maybe 1 or 2 will sell out of 6 titles out of 20. Right.
So then we're sitting with all this other product that it just doesn't go anywhere. And so like now we've had to go $2 bins, $2 back issue. So if it's not new release, then it's $2. And even John, like a couple of times when customers were buying off the new release wall, he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll do it for you like this one time. Because he's just trying to get people interested in reading again, trying to get people to buy more books from us. But you said it best. It's become, most people don't buy the books to read them. They're buying them for the covers. They're buying them for the idea of being able to flip it. And even some of the new stuff that's coming out. When's the last time like there was a big book? What was the last big book? It was the Ultimate Spider-Man. You know, that was the last big deal. And it was a mistake for John. Like John only got 6 copies, dude.
Yeah.
It was 2 copies of the original and 2 different variants, and that was it. And you know, I every time I buy Spider-Man, they don't go anywhere. They don't sell. So I'm just not going to get them. And then it was like every other person coming in for like 3 weeks. Do you have any copies of Ultimate Spider-Man #1, Ultimate Spider-Man? And like, no, dude, he didn't order them. He just didn't. So like, when's that going to happen again? What's going to be the next story that's going to happen to?
Well, I mean, like Access is a really good example. Like, fucking shout out to my king, my boy, me.
Who wanted to murder me in the streets if I would have won today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no. He didn't want to murder you.
No.
If you had won, shout out to Erica.
Yes.
She had come in and bought a few spots. She won all the 3-0,
Dang.
1-6 figures for the Power Rangers. She wanted to get them for an anniversary gift for her husband, and she spent $40 to win $700.
That's
stuff.
fucking.
So it went to a good person.
That's dope.
But no, Axis absolutely said that if you win, the only way to appease the gods and the crowd
was they had to beat the shit out of me.
A public execution at one of the cons.
His sacrifice is not in vain.
Yeah, exactly. It's just really badass.
Yes.
So Axis is like a really good example. He reads Radiant Black, I know that, and he's read up with a lot of the Ultimate stuff. But like one thing I really appreciate about him, or Rivers, or Spock, or fucking even, I mean, anyone in there. I mean, even Ike, he's a really good example as well. But like anybody from the society that is really heavy into their craft, they actually read stuff. But the problem with today is that most people they want a short format.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you an example. Like when we do the what do you call it, the cold cuts, or when we do the mad mangas, you know, what would you do? Oh, I'm gonna do my announcer voice.
Yeah, I like that.
Now you guys can all see what it looks like when I fucking do it for you for the
and
YouTube.
action.
So so it's like in a world where this happens with this and that. The funny thing about The Boys, right, is that The Boys, you could say, in a world where superheroes are just people with bad personalities, right? And you're like, oh, that's cool. That doesn't sell anything. But if I'm like, what if the Justice League were normal people with shitty attitudes and unlimited power, owned by corporations?
Yeah.
And they don't give a fuck who gets in their way. All right, well, that'd be interesting. But The Boys has become such a concept and synonymous with the idea of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
The oddballs out.
Mm-hmm.
And now people consume more online, like Variant Comics and Comics Explained and all these other YouTube channels, because they need somebody to tell them the quick notes.
Give me the what is it? The Cliff's Notes.
Yeah,
the Cliff's Notes. That way I can get the story that much faster.
And because of that, you get this disconnect from reading, from artwork. And I feel like that does a huge disservice, because now we're going back to an era where only the actual readers are in control. That doesn't really help out your brick and mortar place.
Yeah.
So a lot of places are either going to fail or they have to adapt. Us, every Saturday has been fucking popping because of the card nights and the Gundam nights. We're having to redo the entire shop and get rid of one of the gondolas. We're upping up our Gundams, our hobby stuff, our card stuff. Because again, like that crowd is awesome too, because they're more active than comic guys are. Comic guys will love to breed and binge, but it is a getaway for the month or the week.
Right.
Card guys are more like, fuck it, dude, I got a shark, and the guy punches your dick for 4
mana. And it's also, you know, like not a lot of us have a whole lot of time. You know what I mean? And when we do have that time, it's how do we want to spend it? You know what I mean? So for a comic book person, you know, when there's all these incredible titles that come out every week, right? You're trying to digest as much as you can, but how much time do you really want to spend on it? Like when you're reading a comic, you want to read it, understand it, absorb it, look at all the different artwork, look at the coloring, look at all that stuff, because somebody spent time doing that. Like every single picture, every little thing in there, every little detail. And then that's the other thing, looking in some of the drawings when you see the little Easter eggs or the little like call out to pop culture, like things like that. That to me is fun to read. It's kind of like that, not choose your own adventure thing. What's the, Can You Find It? One of those books.
Oh, like a Where's Waldo?
Yeah.
I Spy.
I Spy. There we go. Yeah.
And that, I think that is where, like, speaking fucking Rivers goes, X told us all about Go Loser Ranger, and we didn't listen.
I know.
But the truth is, I learned certain things because of TikTok, or I learned things because of the society. People come in, dude, did you read this? Did you check it out? And I feel like the hard part about it is what like Sanzu did for me. Like my wife helped me with one of the best things I completely forgot about. that I like women. No, I'm joking. Oh God, I'm joking. Please. No, she helped me with one thing, which was, she's a big vinyl head. So with her massive fucking amount of vinyl collection we have at the house, she was laying down on the floor one day. I'm all, bitch, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm fucking chilling. What the fuck are you doing? I'm like, fucking nothing. I'm gonna sit over here. Fine, fuck you. And we listened to an album, and I asked her, like, what? This is years ago. I like, what got you back like into vinyl in the first place? And she goes, I don't know. I just listened through the entire thing, and that is the hard part, right? As a person that used to have, Biff is a really good example. This motherfucker brought all these CDs that he's had since middle school.
Holy shit!
All the mixes, the Memorexes, everything.
Yep.
The old cases that you would flip it this way and then flip it back. Oh, I mean, he has all the EPs that we did as bands.
Oh man!
Our four song EP for $1.50, and people are like, I'm not paying that shit. It's been 20.
Yeah, with a free one.
Yeah, 25 years, bro. I still wouldn't pay that shit. But like I remember listening to any CD all the way through. I never really got to enjoy the journey that band is, because that's what you're looking at as you're looking at an artist, where they're at for the past year and where they're at for the next 2 years. So that's a story and a different archetype. When the Umbrella Academy came out, I was really taken aback because Gerard Way, the singer for My Chemical Romance, he was working on Doom Patrol, and I'm a huge Doom Patrol fan. He also created Penny Parker for the Spider-Verse.
Oh, shit.
And so, his little anime shit that he was doing. And I remember reading Hotel Oblivion, and I was like, it's cool, but I like the art. I get where he's going with it. It's a little bit of,
excuse me.
What was the Johnny the Homicidal Maniac? And it's a little bit of...
I remember when I was working at Hot Topic, that was a big deal.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of that was not only just really good, but it was something that I could thoroughly go through and read and watch, right? So now here we are years later with the vinyl thing, and I really forgot about how important it was to just listen through a fucking album. Spotify is my favorite music app of choice. I have all these playlists that I make for the shop, for friends. People always ask me to make them fucking playlists. Oh, dude, you have such a really vast thing.
You do. You have a great knowledge of music and everything else like that. Every mix you put.
I appreciate that, but I learn a lot of that from clients, from my wife, from you, from everyone else, from the society. I like just because I'm always in my head with tattooing. Like the Berserk piece I just tattooed on Monday. Oh, believe me, if you allow me to if you motherfuckers let me do what I want, I'd fucking do great. I do good.
He does good work around here. We'll keep him around a little longer.
That's what it would be like if I was born in Jersey. Fucking pizza. Get out of here. And but I feel like I learn from a lot of people. So when I was tattooing that, I'm listening to like 10 different playlists, and there's like 600 songs I'm going through in 10 hours, right? Quote unquote here.
Right.
But just because like my mood changes while I'm doing it, because I'm focusing on different shit. But I'm listening to so many different things, and then they become repetitive, and I don't really try anything new. It's hard. So with comic books, it's kind of become the same thing with video games. You get stuck in the same thing. How long have you been playing Fallout?
Since 2015.
There you go. So almost 10 years.
No, even longer than that. I think it came out. I have it somewhere. It's been 8 years. So count 8 years back. I can't do my math right now.
Perfect. So 8 years. You just said that. There you go. That's the answer. But I mean, like, that being said, real comic book nerds are the best thing for the community, but they are the worst thing that keeps the community alive, because they want to consume. And I don't mean they're terrible. It's like the environment is terrible. You can't keep buying things you can't afford.
Right.
And there's no good stories. So why am I going to spend $7.99 for one fucking book? That's why, like, me getting into Magic, and you and Sanzu, Darth and Jackie, all these new people that the Card Boys have really done well at bringing us in. And you're like, this is a 10-cent card. Dude, that card's expensive. It's $1.25. I'm like, what are you fucking oh, you know what? Thank you. I'll take the goddamn $1.25. But you get people that they want to consume an album, like a graphic novel or a comic series, and they want to read it all the way through. That is a dying art form.
Well, it's how often and how many. Okay, I'll put it to you like this: what album or soundtrack or anything that you can think of off the top of your head that you could listen to from first song all the way to the end without turning it off? Like, there's hasn't been very many albums in my lifetime that have done that, but the few that I do have, those are the ones that I cherish, and those are the ones that I think I will always go back to when I'm like, I want to feel a certain way. I will put that music on, and I can just, like, meditate and just lose myself, go be free for a little while and forget all the other bullshit that I'm having to deal with. So, like, for you, what can you think of? Can you think of any album?
Yeah, Daft Punk Discovery was a huge one for me when I was growing up. Gorillaz, the first self-titled album. I'll listen to most likely, the Spice Girls soundtrack. Honestly, I think a lot of times I listen to stuff by, I know My Chemical Romance is one of them, Screw 32, Rancid.
You have some of the Descendants usually.
The Descendants,
playing.
yeah. My number one album of all time that I've ever listened to the most was the Descendants, Milo Goes to College.
Yeah.
And I grew up with that one.
Yeah.
So that's like my number one. Specials, The Greatest Hits was another big one for me. But honestly, probably the number one of all time that I've ever truly listened to is The Greatest Hits of Ray Charles. That was such a huge influence on me because my dad listened to that all the time. So, there was one that he did with Charles Mingus, and they did one with Cab Calloway, and it was one of my favorite songs of all time, St. James Infirmary. That has been something that I have loved ever since I was a kid, and I'm finally getting my switchblade on my eye tattooed by Mike Lane this summer.
Hey.
And it's the idea of, like, keep your eye sharp is what the thing is. If you cut your eye, you bleed, you can't see. But it's your own blood that can blind you. It's basically the term, and it's the 20 gold piece pen is what that refers to. And that reminds me of my dad. I think of a lot of stuff that I can sit and be nowhere. I also listen to, Apocalypta. I'll listen to Klaatu. That's another great band. For anyone that loves psychedelics, I saw Darth had said in chat that if you have to put a CCR record if you're eating edibles or some shit.
Yeah.
Try Klaatu, The Loneliest Man in the Universe. It's a rock opera a few years before Queen hit. And it's about a dude who is not happy with his life, and he goes out into space and then leaves to see the universe, floats for about a millennia, and realizes that, like, he's more lonely by abandoning everybody than being in a place where he's surrounded by people and doesn't know how to talk to them. Yeah. And I remember hearing this shit like a long time ago. But the point is like Sandman is a really good example. That would be the equivalent of Klaatu to me. Sandman and Neil Gaiman books are such a huge influence on me because of the way that the universe works. Queen is one of my favorite bands of all time. Yeah. I fucking will listen to Queen any goddamn day. But the amazing versatility of storytelling can be in music, can be in comics. Honestly, I think the hard part is if people can't just consume it in a 30-second video, why read it or listen to it? And the hard part is that there gets to be so much, you don't really get to enjoy the nuances. One of my favorite stories is the side story from Avengers Disassembled. Where Norman Osborn creates the Dark Avengers. Right. And then he hires Bullseye as the new Hawkeye. Yep. And, the thing's like, oh, Deadpool versus Hawkeye.
Oh, my
then
God.
Then they fight.
Dude,
then
that
this,
is a
then
great book. I just picked that one up not too long ago.
Yeah. But then they never really, go over what happens in the specifics of it. But my favorite panel is where Deadpool is fighting him. You find out they were childhood friends, Wade and Bullseye. And he goes, you want to know what's really fucking stupid? Bringing an arrow into an indoor fight. And then he, beats the shit out of him. And he goes, I'm going to beat you like the redheaded stepchild you are. Such a great panel, but it's missed because Cliff Notes don't need that. Right. You just need to know why, A, B, and C.
Right.
I feel like it's hard because us as consumers, us as people, we will give anything a chance, but it is much more popular to find something to take in a huge thing, grow the fandom, grow the demand,
Right.
and then leave it behind like trash. Trash an entire fucking event. Like think of it as EDC or Burning Man.
Yeah.
You get there and it's all about one love and save the earth. Yet
But
they
like,
leave the worst trash
oh
ever.
my God.
That's what's happened to the MCU and the DCEU.
Yeah.
Because nobody that truly cares about it is leaving anything but their fucking trash there. So we're suffering for it until you get guys that make stuff like Invincible. This Fallout show did tremendous. So much so that there's all these new influencers who are like, oh, the 5 things you've missed in Fallout.
Yeah.
The 10 things. And it's like, dude, you've never even been into this. Not a bad thing for new people to get into it.
Right.
But it's created a hype. And I feel that is what's making things suffer is what is more marketable than what is good. If you had the intention of any like new show, like animated show, right? Why, when people are like, oh man, no, see, it takes too long and people don't want to get into it, blah, 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 blah. If that's the fucking truth, why is X-Men 97 doing so well? I don't even like X-Men 97, and that, not because I don't think it's a good show.
Right.
I don't give a shit about the X-Men. They're just a bootleg Doom Patrol to me because Doom Patrol was way before them. But I respect it because god damn it is that fucking show good.
Have you been watching any more episodes, or because I know you're only like one or two?
No. I'm caught up to. I saw that Spock had said that there's a new episode out. But
Just came out today. Yeah. I watched that.
No
one this
spoilers.
morning. No.
But like, why? If people think that there isn't room for good storytelling, is that yet again another sense of proof that if you just do really good fucking work, it works. You're letting the entire album from the first band that you see, like Gorillaz. I love them as one of my favorite bands of all time. They don't have a genre. They're every genre. Okay. And Damon, the lead singer, he grew up in an Afro-American British neighborhood that was very heavy Jamaican influence and Afro-Cuban influence. So a lot of his music is a culmination of what he grew up with.
Right.
You know, a white kid in a black neighborhood, and they were all Jamaican Afro-Cubans. So when you listen to fucking Gorillaz, you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So when you look at X-Men 97, you have a very diverse background, a very great amount of villains, heroes, everything. And then they took a strong story and continued it so much so that now they're going to bring back Spider-Man.
Yeah. Did you catch that episode when he showed up?
No.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know. You're not going to ruin anything for me.
But no, it was like at the end of one of the last, not this last episode, maybe it was a time before that. I think it was 6 or 7. It was one of those episodes. But anyways, at the end, it had Silver Samurai. It showed Doom. It showed Spider-Man. I can't remember who the other one was. And I remember that also Captain America was in that episode earlier on. And again, I feel like having Captain America in there and that little exchange that he had with Rogue, that's almost like, it almost felt like, are they trying to set up for X-Men versus the Avengers? Because that would be something cool to see for season 2. But as of right now, dude, like this last episode, again, they're not afraid to take chances.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to use source material, which is, I think, the smartest thing that they did. The guy that's in charge of it all, Bo DeMaio, the one that they ended up firing like 2 weeks before the show, or like a week before the show started. Like, can you imagine how frustrating it must be to sit back and watch all the success of all the work that you just did for this TV show and all this hype, but you can't even be a part of it because of the shit that went down.
Excuse me. What did go down with him?
From what I understand, it was he had some kind of OnlyFans account, and so from that.
But OnlyFans literally is anything.
Yeah,
it's like Reddit. 90% of it's porn, but for the love of God,
but there's 10% that's not.
Right. But was he doing adult stuff?
I don't know. I didn't.
Damn.
But even still,
you
like,
guys can see X dick. Oh wait, that's me. Oh no! Ah!
as long as it's not diddle diddle doo doo doo.
Yeah, exactly.
No diddlings.
Yeah, dudes. Peter Dinklage walks out. He's all, fuck. God damn it.
Call me a midget one more time.
Midget. And, yeah, exactly. God damn, dude. Today's going by pretty quick. I like it. Yeah, and I think that's really I really think that is the kicker, right? Is you have a tremendous amount of big nerds that come in and out of the shop and into these fandoms. And like My Hero Academia is one of the funniest ones. Great anime, better manga, but such a shitty, toxic fandom for the most part.
Right.
But, oh well, it is what it is. And you're going to only do so much. So in my honest opinion, it's sad because I feel like they give up on projects before they even really truly give them a chance to start, because they care about, like, you're putting people in charge of numbers and statistics, which, yeah, that's their fucking job.
Right.
But you're putting that person more in charge than a storyteller that has to be free to do what they want to. Like, again, my whole point was with bringing up the tattoo thing. When I did the Berserk piece, that's probably one of the best pieces I've ever done. That dude flew out all the way from Denver, and he's actually supposed to be going to Germany. So he's offering me to go over there, and ironically, he's at the same base as one of my best friends.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, dude, he wants to continue to go. That's great. But he gave me full carte blanche to do whatever you want. Take all the time. I got you lunch. I'm gonna watch it. I want to watch a show, The Three Body Problem. And he goes, I just want to
zone out.
Zone out, bro. I had every ability to do what I needed to. But I think about this conversation that somebody had told me one time, which was the difference, the balance of conservative and liberal, not in the sense of politics, but in the sense of self-worth. A liberal person is a dreamer with no discipline. So they dream the best ideas, so they think and speak to create this thing, but they don't have any discipline to do it or follow through or to maintain it. And the conservative type is the one that has all the discipline but has no free thought to do something new. You cannot have one without the other. So when you yourself are creating, you need those. We have too many free thinker, I would say conservative financial types that are being put into a free thinker space, and the free thinkers, they're making them way too conservative with what they should be doing. And I mean in the sense of like, no, if you do it this way, it's way more profitable, versus just actually making a wise decision for a good choice for something
where it could be profitable because it's an original idea versus
absolutely.
Oh, well, here's your parameters. I need you to stay within those parameters. Why? Because all these parameters worked for this movie, so it's going to work for this movie. And that's I think what the big problem with Marvel is. I'm glad to hear that they're stepping back, that they're not going to be putting back as much programs out there. So they're only going to be doing like 2 to 3 movies a year and two shows a year at most. That's great. Cutting back, that's fine. The problem was always the stories that they were trying to put out. Like all the TV shows that they were complaining about that didn't do as well, and that's kind of the reason why they want to pull back. I think that they established for so long, for the first 12 years, like you said, every movie that came out, it was an event. You had to go see it. You wanted to go see it. Not only that, there was some kind of tie-in or a extra scene at the end that would set up for the next movie. Right. And that was something that kept going. With all the stuff that they did during WandaVision, during She-Hulk, and all these other shows, they only had one that really connected to the movie, and that was in She-Hulk. That was the one with Wong.
Yeah.
So there was that little bit of connectivity, but I'm trying to remember, like, with WandaVision, what happened with Vision? He just flies off. They were, like, leaving it up for he's going to have his next series where he was going to have the Vision family, and never happened.
Yeah, like, the hard part is how do you fuck up Blade? Like, he is a vampire hunter. It's a brother doing brother shit against vampires. Cool. They walk on. That's all you need to hear.
Yeah.
You just need to hear some fucking dude that
and
sounds...
the fucking techno in the background.
Yeah. All you need to hear is some fucking heavy drum and bass, right, and then all of a sudden you just hear some oddly specific East European guy be like, "It is you, Blade," and then all of a sudden it's like, and then just immediately a sword fight. End it. It's always some motherfucker trying to ice skate uphill. Ooh, chef, baby, take me home to the promised land. Fucking solid.
Right.
And I feel like that is the hard part. Is like you have a formula. Let's talk about the new Superman. Okay, before we go into it, Superman, the Man of Steel.
Yes.
Let's talk about Gods and Monsters, the Elseworld story where he is actually, they do a DNA genetic encoding test where his mother basically has an egg in a gestation tube, and then you put your thumb or your finger onto that thing, and it immediately makes it your genetic code, and then that's what creates the baby. So that's their version of sex, and he's hard fucking. So Zod comes up, and Zod's like, "All right, that's fucking crazy. Check this shit out." He's all, bam, thumb going inside and shit. You're all, oh.
He didn't even spit on it first.
Exactly. I was like, fucking dope. And he ends up becoming it's Superman's mother and Zod. That's their baby. But he lands in New Mexico, so he's raised by Mexican parents. Michael C. Hall plays their version of Batman, but he's a vampire. And then they have their other version of Wonder Woman. That's a really cool thing. Then you have The Red Sun, also done by Mark Millar, another one who has famously written a lot of fucking books, like The Magic Order.
Yes.
And so you have this really beautiful storytelling of what it would be like. But Menkinov, I am a man who fights for the Russians, but I do not, how do you say, I do not have money for food for my men, but enough for my mask. And you're like, why? Where's all this arsenal come from? I have very rich family, but we do not, food is not important. Bat of night. Bat of night. Yeah. So don't ask question. What are you, gay? And but you have all these renditions of it, but at the end of the day, you need a guy who is complete and utter hope. The first shot that James Gunn has leaked, what makes you laugh about it?
As soon as I see it, I'm looking at him, and it's like he's struggling to put his boots on, and all I can think was like, must be pretty hard to step into those Cavill boots, huh?
And he looks nothing like Cavill. Didn't they say he looked like him? I mean, in that photo, though.
In that photo, it looks like a cross between Cavill and Christopher Reeve. Because, like, the way he has the little hair fucking loop-de-doo thing going down. No, dude, but it's funny to me because here he is sitting on a chair, right? Or sitting on a bed. He just finished fucking Lois or whatever. Just blew her back out with a fucking load. And in the background, you see some kind of laser. Like, I don't know if that's Godzilla fucking shooting up at the aliens or whatnot. But this motherfucker's sitting down on the bed, not even concerned with what's going on in the background, like cities being destroyed or whatnot, but he's struggling to get his boots on.
You know that it's the fucking Puerto Rican neighborhoods. It's like, he's like...
They're firing off fireworks.
Yeah, he's like, listen, man.
They still have fireworks for 4th of July, and it's September.
I'm from the north side of Metropolis, okay? That's the east side. Fuck them. Superman, no. It's in Terrible.
Terrible.
But... Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are laughing at it, and I feel the hard part with people critiquing and criticizing. I wouldn't even say critiquing, because critiquing to me is the healthiest thing you could do to an artist. Right. People just talk shit.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks they have a fucking opinion.
Everybody's coming at it like the fucking Drake and what's his name's rap battle thing is going on. Yeah.
And the sad part about it is that no matter what, the sad part about it is when we first saw John Cena as Peacemaker, fucking goddamn James
Why a
Gunn,
wrestler?
Why this guy? He's not The Rock. He's not this.
Can't see me.
And then you see him in the Suicide Squad movie, and it was good. I enjoyed him in that. And then when he gets his own show, holy shit, did he not do a good job? And again, I think they work in long format, and he knows the right actor for the right role. The problem is we have to give him a chance, right?
Yeah.
Because Guardians, I remember the fucking day that they announced they're gonna do a talking raccoon, and it's Bradley Cooper. Oh, there goes the MCU.
Right.
You're gonna get the guy from Parks and Rec. There goes the MCU, and it ended up being one of the best successes.
Yeah.
The best goddamn fucking soundtracks.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about those things hit. I remember thinking, and I'll be completely honest about it, but like I remember this is about the time we were helping take care of my dad, and I had left the shop I was working at. I was working at Wave Street down the on Cannery Row, and I had left randomly one day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch the movie. I'm gonna go watch it by myself, and I did. And at Yandu's death, I was a fucking wreck because I was like, death was on my dad's doorstep pretty often with the way his health was and everything. And I've had more people take care of me than my own parents over the years because I left home so young. And the crazy part is when he has that thing, he may have been your daddy. What was
he may have been your father,
but he wasn't your daddy, boy.
Yeah.
And there was that whole moment of where he gets the Ravager funeral, and it's just that little bit.
Yeah.
A few years later, my dad would pass, and it was such a moment of where Cat Stevens, father and son. Yeah, such an interesting concept to where I still hold on to it, and it means a lot to me because you came into the shop today, and my mom was on the phone, and she's going through her stuff, and the crazy thing is like, I had this conversation with my mom about how people would view her and my dad growing up, and that they were just very looked down upon by a lot of people. And I said, one day I decided that if I was ever going to do anything with my life, I was going to prove that those two fuck-ups did the best they could with me, and I'm proving that our name is worth something. I look at that every day in good storytelling with comics and movies, and to me, that hope that people find in you or in Darth and Rivers and fucking, hey, Preston, what up? And everybody that's part of the society. I think there's a lot of great people in the society. Even the ones that don't believe they're fucking great are great people.
Right, absolutely.
They just need a chance. So when you're looking at that opportunity, why does certain things hit us is because somebody went through it and they're sharing with you what is legitimate.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I truly, truly believe that if you're going to look at Superman and you're going to look at things that James Gunn has done, when Peacemaker, if you don't want to hear this, fast forward or pause it or whatever, fucking 2 seconds, 3, 2, 1, when he has to kill his dad. Because his dad's basically the Red Dragon, the fucking Ku Klux Klan.
Yep.
And he has that moment of he's always trying to impress the old man, never good enough, and then he has to kill him, and then he just fucking breaks down. James Gunn, Rocket, when his friends die, everything that Gunn does with tragedy is as equally heavy as his comedy. He does great.
Absolutely.
There's no fucking way he's not going to not write Superman to be this hero that loses absolutely fucking everything.
Yeah.
It looks goofy.
Yeah.
With the collar. I never liked it, but he's paying an homage to Alex Ross's Superman. Mm-hmm. It looks cool. The background, it's a little nonchalant, like everything. Yeah, it's like the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, Mojo Jojo's going to town, and the fucking professor's all,
what's happening? Let me read the paper.
But I do not doubt the story behind the feeling behind the story that dude is capable of is going to be lost on nuance.
We're all going to be genuinely surprised. I'll even say right now, I'll probably end up eating my words. I know that he's going to put something out that will probably impress everybody. It probably will give a new hope to Superman, to DC, to everything that for the last 10 or 15 years that they've tried to put out shit. That's all it's been is shit. But no, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, there was just those things about it. I was like, come on, man. Like the thing going on in the background, and you can't even put your boots on fast enough. I thought you're supposed to be the Man of Steel, like super fast. You're beating Flash. Like, how do you outrun Flash? You know, like my favorite scene in is it Justice League, when they're all fighting him after he comes back to life, and he has everybody on fucking Cavill has everybody on Hove, and all of a sudden fucking the Flash comes in at him, and all of a sudden he just kind of turns his head and looks right at him, and Flash is like, oh fuck. So like, if he's that fast, then how come he couldn't go and stop whatever's going on and get his boots on faster? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, like Preston says in here, like sometimes it works, sometimes you get Jared Leto. But that wasn't him. That was Ayer.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the thing. The original version of the Suicide Squad, if you ever get a chance, look up this is where I need to get help, probably Susan or somebody to help me run because we could do it on the live stream. We just don't fucking have somebody to help us. But if you get a chance, look up the Suicide Squad first movie and look up the Comic-Con first release trailer, and it is done so well because it was supposed to be more of a dark action movie. And there were and I'm gonna shout this out to my buddy Ike, fucking him and Danny and all the guys from the LA crew. You guys are all chapters now. We're basically a cult. But all the LA chapter of the Sacred Society, which is actually fun to say. I'm gonna start making you guys join gangs.
Yeah.
But the LA chapter, we were having ramen one night. Surprise, surprise. And we were sitting over and talking about different things and how I don't like what was his fucking name that passed away, the other Joker? Heath Ledger.
Oh yeah.
I don't like Heath Ledger's Joker. I think he did a great performance. I just don't really care for that rendition of him. But they're great movies. And Suicide Squad had come out around the time, and it was Ike and Danny, if I remember correctly, who made this point of, like, the sad part about the fucking movie is there's no fucking point. Enchantress shakes her ass like Shakira for fucking 45 minutes and then makes a trypophobia of fucking gross-ass minions, and that's it. There's really no other point to the movie. What a good point of the movie would have been is, had you have taken... had you have the bombs in the head, right? Mm-hmm. Joker is looking for Harley. And so he kidnaps the one unkidnappable person that everyone fears, Amanda Waller, and takes her out and says, if I don't get Harley, then I'm going to kill her. If I do get Harley, maybe I'll still kill her. But you're going to kill everybody, including Harley. But it would be funny, wouldn't it? And the idea of where in the first trailer... everyone, the baddest of the bad, Diablo, fucking Deadshot, all these guys, and you hear the Jokers laugh, and everyone's like, oh no, that's not good. That's a really good example of what the Joker truly is, and what Dini did with him, what a lot of people like Millar did with him. And not only that, but the Justice League Unlimited series, where the first meeting of the Legion of Doom, and they don't invite him, and he invites himself, and right. Lex, Cheetah, Shade, Star Sapphire, Solomon Grundy, they're all like, oh, man, like, you know, hey, man, we don't want any trouble. And he's like, no, we're friends. And he's just fucking so... You have a guy with no powers making celestial beings and fucking the undead quiver because they're like, this dude is unpredictable. That is a great thing. And Jared Leto would have fucking killed it had they did not have all the gangster bullshit, and you didn't have...
I didn't need to have the words tattooed damaged across his forehead. We already knew he's a damaged guy. Like, and I remember when it came out, I remember thinking that, well, maybe it's the Joker that got killed. Because remember there was that thing about the armor, and it's like, you fucked up. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's one of the Bat Robin kids went ape shit and became a Joker, and like,
right,
you know, trying to think what's the Red Hood?
Yeah, Red Hood.
Red Hood, yeah,
Jason Todd.
That's what I thought. That's who I thought he was going to be, like, portraying as like a Jason Todd Joker kind of thing, which I would have bought that, but that damage thing, it was
no. I mean, the only thing damaged in my life besides everything else is my credit score.
Same. So what
do you feel about the photo, truly, when you saw it? I was underwhelmed. I was absolutely visually underwhelmed, and I see the Ross inspiration. I see the stuff that I truly care about. I see the stuff I willing to look at, but he looks too much like Red Sun Batman for me to really care about it.
Because of the way the S.
No,
or
his
just
whole
the
getup.
Get-up.
Yeah, the whole getup is very layered, and to me, you need sleek because besides his cape, you could grab onto anything. And I'm not talking about like your average Joe villain. I'm talking about somebody who is like a Yellow Lantern. Or
See, I don't understand why they feel like every suit that comes out, especially for the supers, they always have to have textures. Like I get like it because on screen it shows up a little bit better, but like for Superman, I don't need to see his textured suit. Like I'm used to seeing it just slick. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's streamlined. Like wouldn't that not be more aerodynamic? Like I don't know.
Well, I mean, you got to remember they don't fly.
Yeah.
They
defy gravity.
Well, no. I mean, like as far as for them and their solar systems and their Eris, they don't fly. They're just normal beings.
Right.
They come over here and it's like John Carter on Mars. You're just hopping everywhere, being like, "Fuck you, Jordan." No, I was a little underwhelmed. Everyone's like, "Oh, the things you're missing." I'm not missing anything. There's a beam in the back. I am willing to give it a chance because I will say this: the guy who played Darwin in X-Men First Class, was it, or was it Wolverine? Help me out, chat.
First Class. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What's his name? Beast?
No. Darwin, the black guy that fucking can turn into anything, and then they make him go out in the bitchiest way because he's one of the most strongest mutants.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He is Mr. Terrific. Now, let me fucking tell you, when I say Mr. Terrific is probably one of the top 5 dudes in DC that gets slept on because he is basically their version of Reed Richards. And he's the only person that Batman goes to where he's like, I can't figure it out. What would you do? And they work together, but he's awesome. If you're going to introduce a black character, a Mexican character, a Puerto Rican character, if you want diversity, go to a character that has character. Miles Morales works extremely well because there's something about it. Barry and I would talk about this all the time.
Right.
But like one of the best things in fucking Into the Spider-Verse 2 was when he's talking to his mom and he has this moment because Barry was with his mom most of the time. And it's this young kid's pride thing that we both had and probably still do in some, capacity. But he tells his mom, like, they all came for me, but I beat him. And he does it where he's tired and his left shoulder, the back shoulder, like, moves. And us as, like, artists and storyboard artists, like, how we look at form and layout and direction, the way that he leans and the way he just, and I beat him. He's just tired. He's
and he kind of like went into the mom, like
it's a swag,
comforting.
Yeah, it was a swag in himself. He could be vulnerable, all that stuff, and that character does it. Mr. Terrific is a really good example of another strong character that he doesn't have to prove anything. He already is, and what makes him great is he's an amazing engineer. That's also a great scientist. He's also a fucking like his mask is technology. Everything about him is fucking great. Wow. So you have a world with no Batman yet, but you have somebody with Mr. Terrific. I would absolutely watch that world because who else is going to be able to give him that Batman dynamic of strong, stoic, and ingenious? I believe Gunn chose him because that is the closest thing to Batman you'll get when you can't really solidate a Batman yet. Cool. Fucking A. And he's a great character. That's absolutely a solid choice for something. Blue Beetle, dude. Besides it being an absolute dog shit dumpster fire of a movie, the right actor, the right look, everything about that Blue Beetle was a solid choice. The movie and the script was just not good. But I'll see what happens, man. I really do think that they're going to go ahead and they're going to give it the best they can. Because I'll say this. Guardians 3... who would have thunk it was an all Rocket movie?
Right.
And the main character is Rocket. And he's the least shown in the movie as far as
acting, right.
Active. You have flashbacks for him.
True.
Everyone else is there. It's just flashbacks. So you're looking at a younger version of him. He's not actually really in the movie besides just the flashbacks. Till the very
that's
end.
right, because he's fucking out injured.
Yeah.
That's everybody else.
He's in Act 1,
yeah.
And then you have Act 3. He's missing the entire rest of the movie besides the flashbacks, and you understand who and what he is. and then it fucking hits and you're like, that's dope. So you have a guy and a team who are like, how do we take the main character and don't actually show him in his growth? We show what made him damaged before his growth, and then make that the story.
What Superman story are they basing this one on, or is it just a new?
I have no idea.
Because I thought it was something about Superman's One Last Day, where it's the one where he isn't where Luthor tricks him to go save some people by the sun, and by doing it, he ends up getting exposed to the sun so much that it like sets him on a 1-year path to die, basically. So it's just him having 1 year to put all of his fucking affairs in order. There's nothing he can do to save it, and so I think that's what I remembered reading, something like what they're trying to base it off of. So if it's something like that, I'm cool to see that. But I, again, I'm not trying to say I want to watch it because they're trying to kill off Superman. No, I want to see something again where they're challenging our superheroes. I like seeing that dynamic of them having to go into a place that's usually because of some kind of dark fucking situation.
All-Star Superman, says Rivers.
That's what it is? Okay.
You were saying.
Go into a dark place and then having to come back out of that. You know what I mean? Like, I recently watched Logan again. And that last scene at the very end with him and Laura, dude, and the exchange that he has, like, you know Logan as Wolverine for all the movies that you've all seen him in, and all the shit that he's had to go through, all the love that he's always tried to get, but it was always fucking taken away from him. And in that last moment, he's like, she's crying, he's saying goodbye to her as best he can, and she says something to like, he says, "Oh, so this is what it feels like," and it's almost like he was saying that about death, but it's also like in that moment of like finally being loved. Like he has his daughter. It's like now he understands what life was really about. It wasn't about the anger and all the other shit that he always had the chip in his shoulder about. It was about the family that he had grown into with the X-Men, losing Charles, losing all the people close to him, and then finally finding someone that is a part of him, and then makes him have to like reevaluate his life in those like final moments, dude. Like,
it makes you feel because it's real.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote something about that. Like, we've talked about this many times, like, off mic, obviously, but one of my favorite encounters with my dad was something I couldn't appreciate at the age that he told it to me, which was, I cannot wait for the day that I'm gone to see what kind of conversations we'll have. And young 13-year-old me was like, "You fucking idiot, you can't fucking talk if you're not here. God damn, look at this phony." Fucking idiot of a kid, as always, man. But then, he's been gone going on 3 years now, or 4 years, or something like that. And the fucking conversations I have with this dude daily, and one of the things that always pops in my head is how valuable something is at the very last moment, right? And so I think what really helps with a lot of stories when you're grieving or having loss or something is you equate it to something that you no longer have in a quantity or in quality or just in even perpetuity. It's not something you own. It's something that you have no access to. And I really do feel that a lot of us, no matter the fucking ups and downs, the fucking super tough guy act or the fucking, very, very sensitive person, I think everybody, fucking that song, everybody hurts. But I think everybody suffers silently. I think everybody is going through stuff. So when somebody tells you about death that has never experienced it, they will tell it to you in the most egregious way they can because they need you to believe them.
Right.
They need to tell it to you in such a way that they're trying to convince you. When somebody actually experiences death or happiness or birth or whatever, I can never explain to you what it's like to see my niece born, right? And be like, "Oh my God, I'm an uncle. I got 16 of those little motherfuckers. I was tired of after the first one." But you as a father, you absolutely can tell that story and be what it was like to hold your son.
Oh, yeah.
There is a difference in a first-hand account of what love, death, and pain feel like, and when it transfers to a said property, it works well. Like, that's what I love about the Fallout show. The Fallout show is, that Maximus is going to be the one that has to save Lucy by being reasonable when she becomes unreasonable. And what's going to happen with everything that's going to flip of what it's having to learn to grow and learning how to forgive or forget or let go. So it'll be interesting. Go Loser Rangers.
Oh man,
that show deals with it heavily. The point of Go Loser Rangers is revenge and retribution. It's done in a great fucking way. It's basically The Boys, but it's like, how good is revenge when you become just as bad as the thing? Well, I'm getting mine and I'm doing it for the greater good.
Yeah.
But how many things will you destroy on your way there? Because that person believed the same thing before they destroyed. All that is good is not always gold. That's a very, very famous fucking mindset of like King Midas. If everything you touch is gold, then what can you touch if you can't enjoy it?
Right. And well, it's like I think I've been saying this for a while. It's like everyone is entitled to their own happiness, but not at the expense of others. And in this show, dude, it's very much like that. All the Rangers are all about themselves and everything. That like the fact that they kill all the Dusters, and like the Dusters have to keep going through all this every week. It's like the way they set up the show. It's every Sunday. It's like Sunday football, Coliseum time, and they do the whole production. But the rules are they always have to die. And think about that, dude. Over time, like all the times they've had to die, meaningless deaths, and just because they had to stay with this thing because it's the part of the contract, the agreement that they came with the humans. So like,
yeah,
I am fully enjoying this show. Like it's
first and foremost, real quick. Fuck whoever didn't listen to me goddamn a year ago when I said to fucking watch and read this shit. Come and buy and pay my bills, you bitch. Realistically, what a fucking show, dude. For anyone that has not seen Go Loser Rangers or fucking Super Hentai Senpai,
which is there you go. It's basically, I guess it used to be. It's always been a weekly show for the Sentai Rangers, and in this one, it's they're called the Dragon Keepers. So they're the keepers of the divine artifact, and there's some other like weapons that each one has. So there's only red, yellow, pink, blue, and green, and they're basically like you said, like it's kind of like The Boys, where they have set up this idea. Well, should we give away the whole, like what the whole story's about?
All right, so basically, basically there was in this world, you're introduced to. So it is, if the Power Rangers met The Boys.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Okay. This is almost like episode 7 or 8 of the podcast, when you first started coming on more regularly, and it was Manny and I had talked about how Marvel was going to be a tree, and then lo and behold, watched Loki.
Right.
Listen to me. So say doom. But you got some bass in your voice.
There you go.
Nice. How's it feel to be a man?
Good. The Love Doctor is about to speak.
Yeah, fucking Inspector Gadget. It's
yeah.
Inspector. Friendly.
Go Gadget arm.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my uncle did. But yeah, I would say the premise of it is 13 years ago in this world, the Power Rangers, or the Dragon Keepers. The Dragon Keepers fight basically their version of Zed, Rita, and all the massive fucking villains. And then they kill them by using these things called the divine artifacts, which would basically be like, the bow, the sword, everything the original Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin, the best, fuck all the other ones, including Turbo. And they have their minions, their version of the putties, and they're immortal, so they can regenerate and everything unless they're killed by a divine artifact.
Right.
So
they're called Dusters.
Yes,
Dusters. Yeah, that's a great. Oh my god, dude! Like,
and the reason why is because every time that they die, they turn back into dust.
Right.
So you're introduced to this world where there's like a Super Bowl setting. Their giant spaceship floating island is chained down to the city, and they're told that every week these monsters have to regenerate so they can go ahead and be created, and they attack the fucking world, or they attack the city. That will eventually affect the world if the Dragon Warriors do not keep them in their place.
Right.
So, and from there, they go in and fight in an arena. Then we're introduced to the first big bad, which is a lion truck.
Ultora?
Yeah.
Ultora tiger. Dude, okay. So here's the thing. All the dusters, like, they have to plan out and they have to choose who is going to be the monster of the week, because that's kind of like the whole thing. It's like when you watch Power Rangers, they always had a monster every episode that Rita and the Claymaster guy would make. And so the dusters themselves choose who's going to be the monster of the week, and then they have to use their mimicry and create it. So they have to like think of what they're going to be, and like they like spit. It's like sitting in a room with a bunch of R&D guys, like, all right, what are we going to make today? And like, all right, why don't we make it with and
the best part about it is when you I've read the manga, but like I love, like, in the show when I was showing her how well they did it, because we had to replay it, and it was his face. So he's a mixture between a transformer and basically a
tiger.
Well, but they're supposed to be parodies.
Oh yeah.
So Voltron.
Yeah.
And
it almost felt like it was a little bit of like Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon.
It's
had
all
this,
an amalgamation.
Yeah.
But the fucking lion's eyes are
like,
fucking super cockeyed.
Even that, because like even before he transforms, you can already tell he's like a little off. He's like a gone wrong. And then when he transforms, he's like, "Hey, look at me! I'm hella good." His eyes are like, "Are you gonna be able to see who you're fighting, dude?" Like, what?
And then they have this thing where, you know, there's the idea of they're being attacked, and the Rangers, goddamn, and the Rangers basically put on this show, but it's a Super Bowl.
Right.
It is
every Sunday.
Every Sunday they go down and they beat him down, and they're saving the city, and they do it for publicity. And then you find out that Fighter D,
yes,
which is the main duster, the main putty, he's like, I'm fucking over it. So he goes, and while the other ones die, they turn into dust, which is where they get their name.
And remember, each one has a letter.
Yes.
Like a letter of an alphabet. That's why when we say D later on, you'll see Fighter F. That was the one that died in that, like, sacrifice. Man, dude.
And so they go back up into their giant
floating fortress.
Thank you. And then Fighter D basically says, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go after him. And I just love the intensity, which I hope that they get the voice actor for my boy Bakugo to be Fighter D, because just the anger and the piss that he has in his the piss and vinegar in his voice, but just the whole, like, I will not take this. You will not. I'm no longer going to be your slave.
Nope.
I will do this. And it shows him doing like the ultimate speed run, like he's the Flash.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to him, and he's just like, and they're like, and it's just looking at him like, is he fucking? Is that one running? What is he doing?
And he's like,
with this little blade arm.
One blade arm, because he had the other one cut off. He's like,
yeah, exactly. And they fucking obliterate his ass. And, you know, then they show you the inside, but you come to find out, like the boys, he is trying to find ways to take down basically the Seven or the Power Rangers. And there's other people internally in these organizations, because you can sign up to be a ranger under their district. So they are the main ones. And then there's people that serve under them that basically
they're in line. Like if that like if that ranger ever falls out, then it's the new guy that's going to step into that. And so but he has it in for Red Ranger, the Red Keeper. Yeah, like he fucking wants it.
Oh yeah, dude. And then it's brutal. Yeah. The animation does this weird thing where I know a lot of the Berserk people did not like the 3D animation, but they did a really good job with integrating both styles of traditional and animated. And then even the intro, the outro songs have a very Peacemaker vibe to them.
The outro.
And the very end outro where they have the knitted dolls.
Yeah. No, that's the in-between.
No. They do it at the very, very end.
Yeah.
So they'll do that, and then they'll do the out. So
the chibi ones, where they look like they're in yarn or something.
And it's like, what are we doing next week on this channel? What we're doing is you're getting out of my face. I love it because it reminds me of the anime Konosuba.
Okay.
Konosuba is a phenomenal fucking show that our hentai Hokage himself, Big Woo, aka
Killer
Edwin, he recommended to us, and it's extremely funny. I fucking love it. Sanzu loves it, but it makes sense of why Edwin loves that goddamn thing. But they do a great thing of marketing where every commercial break, they have one of the characters go Konosuba, 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 and it gets to a point where you remember the thing.
The name, yeah.
In this one, it's much more of they don't even try to promote themselves. They're just very reactionary.
Right.
What do you want to do today, good friend? Fuck you and your friendship. And it just works so well. So far, we're on episode 3.
Yeah. I just
it's a
finished
weekly
3
one
this morning.
on Hulu.
Yep.
Right now, it's definitely, and the plot's thickening with the new red cadet and the yellow cadet.
Right.
That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
But the plot thickens, man, and it's pretty good. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, yep. I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. Yeah,
it is done really well.
I remember I was watching the first episode, and I had to go back and watch it again because I'm like trying to keep up with what's going on. I'm trying to learn characters' names and everything. And it wasn't until the second time that I watched it, I'm like, I'm in. Like, now that I get what the concept was, I saw a video that talks about how it's really based off of how it was a weekly show, and it was such a revered thing in Japan. So that's why they kind of threw it in there as like every week, every Sunday, got to have the battles and like the arena. And yeah, dude, no, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Who's the guy with the clown face? Kind of like that fucking Joker.
No, there is a villain from season 2 that when they introduced the Green Ranger, they had him there, and he was one of the main ones. And then there is another show that did something like that. That was it Yu Yu Hakusho, I believe. They're doing the One Punch Man approach where they are.
That's actually the name of the next episode is One Punch Man.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, and that's the funny thing is that each one of these is a parody of something.
Now, you know what? Okay, now I have to go back and look for those things.
The manga has a lot of parodies. It's funny because I was talking to Rodrigo at the last card night, and he was like, I was reading it, but I fell off. And I think it's because he didn't really care for it. And that's completely fine. I feel like this is something that, like, because they weren't born until like 2002, 2003.
Yeah, something like that.
So, like, 93 when that came out for Americans.
Right.
That was such a different thing. Like the pig that would eat all the trash.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't eat trash, man. Angel Grove needs recycling. It's like, this is the fucking problem? Who's going to clean it? Mexicans, probably. You fucking racist pieces of shit. No, but I mean, I feel like the reason why it hits so well for me is because I was that kid who every fucking day was just like, oh my God, they're fighting in a robot against a fucking giant lizard. Tomorrow, we're fighting in a robot, but a giant pig. I'm all, my sister's on TV. Holy shit. Until the fucking Tommy Oliver came in and whooped the living fuck out of them in their own car. It was like Kendrick Lamar to Drake and just fucking bap, bap, bap. But, yeah, man. Well, for this week, that is my pick. 100% is going to be Go Lose Rangers.
Yeah, mine too. That was. I did watch the end of Bad Batch.
How did it go?
Well, they definitely set it up for more side stories or more continuation stories for Omega, but overall, it's just the standard Disney happy ending kind of thing. 3 years, 3 seasons. So like for where it takes place in that time period after Order 66, and to see where it's leading up to, and then where it leaves off, all the characters that they brought in. Yeah, it was a solid show. So overall, I give it an 8 for all 3 seasons, and then for the ending, I give it an 8 as well. Just because, like I said, it was, I expected it more. I guess there was a character that we had been introduced about 5 episodes back that everybody was convinced it was one of the characters that had passed away in the previous season. And when that character died, there was no reveal for it being that character, so there was no connection. So it was kind of like, oh, then fuck. All this hype that I'd been placing on it was like, fell for naught. I went and saw Star Wars Episode 1 last night in the theaters.
Finally, where Jar Jar belongs.
Yes. Actually, did you hear about that? There's putting out this what if Lego, or not a Lego, it's like a what if, I think it is a Lego series, for Star Wars. And they're introducing like parodies of all the characters and things, but Darth Jar Jar is being introduced into it. And the guy that played the voice of Ahmed Best, that played the voice and was Jar Jar, is returning to specifically for Darth Jar Jar, which I thought that's fucking pretty awesome. What else was I going to recommend this week? Oh, definitely X-Men 97. Definitely catch up on that if you haven't already. Did you know who the voice is for Charles Xavier?
No.
Red Skull. Ross Marquand, the guy that played Red Skull in all the Marvel movies. He was also, I think Aaron was his name in Walking Dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, what? He's the voice of Charles? The only reason why I looked it up is because when I was listening to Cable, it sounded like it was Josh Brolin. So I looked it up. I was like, is Josh Brolin like being the voice of Cable because he can't be in Deadpool 3? And but no, it's not him. It's some other actor, some other voice actor that's doing it. But yeah.
Oh, well, that is it for this week. I think we had a pretty good one today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We do have to let everybody know on June 15th, mark your calendars. We have our video game tournament Tattoo Flash Day with our buddies Christian and Rivers, who are going to be our judges. We will have Tekken, and we will have Street Fighter, as well as some other free game play stuff. We do have, I believe, Isaiah and Sam helping us out with doing a small little mini match that day. We're going to be prepping for our July card tournament, which will be Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and I believe we're going to invite other people if they would like to, just so we can judge, not only with our eyes and our hands, but with our minds.
Yes.
Other than that, we will have on the Tattoo Flashlight, it will be a video game and anime Tattoo Flash Day. I will not be here. I will be on the East Coast that entire month, but you will have everybody here. Sanzu, Dadpool, Vato at a Time, Deathmatch, Hentai Hokage himself, Big Woo, and so many more. So, what are your picks for this week, my man?
Definitely, if you got a chance to, or you get a chance to go pick up any free comic books for Free Comic Book Day, because I know there's some still issues out there. Definitely pick up the Energon Universe. That's my number one pick for that one. They did an Ultimates for Spider-Man. This is a continuation picking up from the events of Ultimate Invasion, so definitely pick that one up if you can. I'm not a DC fan, but Absolute Power, that's the new one that they just put out. That one, I kind of want to give that one a read. Essentially, Amanda Waller and Brainiac team up to fucking rid the world of superheroes, so that's what's going on in that storyline. So I was like, oh shit. And that's pretty much it that I have this week.
Okay.
So, yeah.
For myself, I will go ahead and agree with Chris on Go Loser Rangers over on Hulu. If you can watch it, give yourself a chance to check that out. Go ahead for music. I would recommend Telenovela, Eggs in One Basket, a phenomenal band that I found through TikTok, and I really dig it. If you like some kind of 1960s mod music, kind of chill to just drive to, whatnot, I think you may like it. And as far as another band I know that I have been really thinking of lately is thing to check out if you are on Spotify. It is a Spotify audio series exclusive, The Riddler. Right now, The King of Arkham. Check out the series. It is a phenomenal radio play if you're a big Batman fan, or if you love DC animated movies. Check out their audiobooks on Spotify. It is fucking phenomenal. Great voice acting, and I'm a big Riddler fan in general. So just the whole idea of Enigmas, where he's the one having to be the detective in the Batman world through Arkham.
Oh,
Phenomenal series to check out. And yeah, I know there was another band that I really wanted to push out there, but I do not fucking remember.
Perfect.
Oh, well. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Well, all I know is if you guys want to go ahead and sign up, we are going to put out a post tomorrow for the tournament. If you guys don't mind sharing that, check out the brand new merch coming out our way. We're going to have some Hentai Hokage stuff, some Sacred 8 Gundam Club stuff, as well as some stuff for you Card Night guys, as well as some Doom stuff.
Yeah.
So go ahead and be sure to keep up to date with all things Sacred 8. You can find Sir Rick Sarolf on Instagram. You can find Captain Muggins on Instagram. Myself at Brushes of Doom. You can also find Vato Out of Time 831, Deathmatch 831, Sprinkles of Doom. You can find Killer Motors with only one L. And last but not least, our brother at I Am the Smile Ghost and Butcher Brand. Okay, and so say the society. So